Meet Konnect. Konnect is the open innovation hub of Volkswagen Group in Tel Aviv, Israel. The mission of Konnect is to scout and test the best Israeli technologies, implement them, and drive innovation across the 12 Volkswagen Group brands. Konnect is scouting for the future mobility technologies such as autonomous driving, electrification, connectivity, artificial intelligence, and Industry 4.0. But how does the team of Konnect actually work? What is the process of open innovation? And how do you bring a corporate and a startup to collaborate? In the next few minutes, you will find out how the Konnect team is doing it. Meet Katya. Katya is an engineer at the Volkswagen headquarters in Wolfsburg. She's part of the team that develops sensor systems for autonomous driving. The challenge in her current project is to find a way for autonomous cars to drive in bad weather conditions like rain or fog. She heard that in Israel there are 6,000 startups. 600 of them are active in the mobility sector. There is a high chance that some of them offer technologies that can solve her challenge. To find out, Katya reaches out to the Konnect team in Israel. Nitzan, the tech scout at Konnect, receives Katya's request and starts to identify her exact need. Together, they discuss the technical need, use cases, Katya's project goals, timeline, and dedicated budget. Based on their discussion, Nitzan scouts for relevant startups in the Israeli ecosystem. He uses the internal startup database of Konnect, explores and meets Israeli startups face-to-face, and reaches out to his network of VCs and accelerators in the Israeli ecosystem. Finally, Nitzan collects a list of 8 relevant startups. The next step is to evaluate if any startup can provide a technical and competitive solution for Katya's project. Based on his technical expertise and experience, Nitzan decides to reach out to Sensor Startup. Sensor Startup develops a far-infrared sensor which can improve the car's vision in bad weather conditions. Nitzan invites Kobi, the CEO and co-founder of Sensor Startup, to meet in the Konnect hub in Tel Aviv. During their meeting, Kobi shows a live demo of his sensor technology. These insights help Nitzan to evaluate the startup based on the following criteria. A, the technical and innovation level of the product. B, whether the startup is in its early or mature stages of development. C, the expertise of the team and the founders. And D, the product fit to Katya's project. Nitzan conducts the same evaluation for all of the 8 startups that he meets. The goal of the next phase is to find the best startup match for Katya's project. For that, Nitzan presents his evaluations to Katya. They discuss the startup technologies and decide with whom they want to follow up. Sensor Startup sounds promising. So Katya invites Kobi to Wolfsburg for a face-to-face meeting. In the meanwhile, Angelica from Konnect onboards Sensor Startup to the VW supplier system and makes sure they sign a non-disclosure agreement with VW. During their face-to-face workshop, Katya, Nitzan, and Kobi deep dive into the exact use cases of the technology, determine the criteria to test it, and agree on the next steps. Finally, they decide to collaborate by conducting a proof of concept, a POC, for a period of 2 months. As part of the POC, Sensor Startup installs its far-infrared sensor in Volkswagen test car. The POC results show that Sensor Startup's solution provides a good resolution that is high enough to ensure safe and secure driving, also in bad weather conditions. The POC also provides valuable data and feedback for the startup from which they can learn and optimize their product. All in all, working together with Volkswagen offers Sensor Startup a great opportunity to scale. Encouraged by the successful results of the POC, Kobi decides to apply for Katya's project tender in order to implement Sensor Startup's technology in the upcoming series of the Volkswagen autonomous cars. After a long process, deep technical evaluation by the R&D department, and a tough negotiation process with Volkswagen procurement, Sensor Startup wins the tender. So how did Konnect support the collaboration between Volkswagen and Sensor Startup? First, by investigating and defining the exact technological need of Katya's project. Then, scouting, evaluating, and matching the best Israeli startups using a tech expertise in the local Israeli market. On top of that, Konnect bridged the cultural, language, and bureaucracy barriers which usually occur when a corporate is working with a startup. All this paved the way to a successful collaboration and implementation of the sensor startup technology in the Volkswagen future cars. This is how Konnect drives open innovation. Want to hear more? Follow us on social media and stay connected. Disclaimer: all names and stories in this explanation movie are fictional. They are only meant to describe our open innovation model.